What if I told you that the blurred vision, the stinging dryness, and that deep ache behind your brow aren't actually signs that your eyes are failing because of age? What if I told you that nearly 90% of the symptoms you blame on getting older are actually being caused by the device you are holding right now? There is a silent epidemic sweeping through the senior community, and it has nothing to do with cataracts or glaucoma. It is a specific physiological conflict between the human eye and digital pixels. The question isn't if your screen is hurting your eyes. The science tells us it almost certainly is. The real question is, are you going to let a factory setting dictate your independence, or are you ready to take control? This phenomenon is what medical professionals call computer vision syndrome. And for seniors, it creates a terrifying illusion. It mimics the sensation of permanent vision loss, causing anxiety and leading many to give up reading, writing emails, or video calling their grandkids. But here is the good news, and the hidden culprit most doctors forget to mention. Your eyes aren't broken, your settings are just wrong. In this video, we are not going to tell you to throw away your iPad or stop using your computer. Instead, we are going to look at the hard science of why screens hurt. And I'm going to give you a precise step-by-step checklist of adjustments that will act like a balm for your tired eyes. By the end of this video, you will have a screen that works for you, not against you. If you are ready to stop straining and start seeing clearly again, please consider subscribing. We are building a community here dedicated to the health tips that help you stay independent and vital. Before we dive into the science, I have a quick question for you. What is your biggest frustration with your screen right now? Is it the glare, the tiny text, or just that tired feeling at the end of the day? Let me know in the comments. I read every single one to help me understand exactly what you're up against. Now, let's get to work. We have a lot of ground to cover, and every single point we discuss is backed by hard data. The first area we need to tackle is the blinking paradox, which explains why your eyes feel like they are drying out the moment you start reading the news. Let's start with the most immediate sensation, that gritty, dry, burning feeling. You might think your eyes are just naturally producing less moisture. And while tear production does decrease slightly with age, the real villain is actually your brain's reaction to a glowing screen. When we talk to a friend or walk down the street, our eyes are on autopilot. We blink, we refresh, we hydrate. But something strange happens. When we lock our gaze onto a digital display, a landmark study published by the University of Iowa and corroborated by research in the Investigative Ophthalmology and Visual Science Journal uncovered a startling statistic regarding this behavior. Under normal conditions, a human being blinks about 15 to 20 times per minute. That is the biological baseline required to keep your cornea lubricated and healthy. However, the moment you begin staring at a screen, whether it's a computer, a smartphone, or a TV, that rate crashes. It plummets by over 60%, dropping to as few as 5 to 7 blinks per minute. This isn't just a minor reduction, it is a physiological drought. To understand why this matters, think of your eyelid like a windshield wiper. Every time it closes, it drags a fresh film of tears across the surface of your eye. This tear film is complex. It has an oily layer to prevent evaporation, a watery layer for hydration, and a mucus layer to stick it all to the eye. When you stop blinking, that film breaks apart. It evaporates. Imagine a windshield wiper that only swipes once every 10 minutes during a rainstorm. The glass gets streaky, visibility drops, and debris starts to stick. That is exactly what is happening to your corneas when you get lost in an email chain. So, how do we fix this? We need to retrain your brain. Since you can't trust your subconscious to blink for you while you are focused, you have to make it a conscious habit until it sticks. I want you to try the hard blink exercise. Every time you click send on an email, or every time a commercial comes on the TV, close your eyes gently and then squeeze them shut tight for 2 full seconds. This squeeze helps express the tiny oil glands in your eyelids, known as the meibomian glands, which releases the oil needed to stop your tears from evaporating. It's like putting a lid on a pot of boiling water. It keeps the moisture in where it belongs. Moving on to our second point, we need to discuss the contrast trap and why gray text is the enemy of the aging eye. Have you ever found yourself squinting at a menu on a website or leaning in aggressively to read a caption on Facebook? You might assume your prescription's out of date. right? But often the issue is simply low contrast. Modern web design loves to be sleek. It loves cool aesthetics, often meaning thin gray text on a white background. For a 20-year-old graphic designer, that looks elegant. For the aging eye, it is effectively invisible. The science behind this is fascinating and crucial to understand. As we age, the lens of the eye naturally becomes denser and takes on a slightly yellow tint. This acts like a built in filter that blocks some light entry. A study published in the Journal of Gerontology highlighted that seniors can require up to 3 times as much contrast to perceive an image clearly compared to someone in their 20 seconds. Furthermore, a study in investigative ophthalmology and visual science found a linear decline in contrast sensitivity starting from age 50. This means that gray text doesn't just look gray to you, it blends almost seamlessly into the background, forcing your eyes to work overtime just to distinguish the letters. Imagine trying to read a letter written in white chalk on a white wall. That is essentially what low contrast websites are asking your eyes to do. Your eye muscles strain to find the edges of the letters, leading to deep, aching fatigue behind the brow. The actionable advice here is to maximize contrast immediately. You don't need to buy a new monitor, you just need to adjust the one you have. If you are on a PC, go to your ease of access settings and look for high contrast. Turn this on. It might look jarring at first, often turning the background black and the text bright yellow or white, but the relief for your eyes is almost instant. If you are on a Mac, look for increased contrast in your accessibility settings. On your phone, look for the bold text option. This adds weight to the letters, making them stand out more sharply against the background, giving your eyes a much needed break. Next on our list is a topic you have likely heard about in the news, the blue light reality. But we need to clarify something. It's not necessarily about eye damage, it's about your sleep. You have probably heard terrifying rumors about blue light frying your retinas. Let's clear the air with some nuance. While there is no conclusive evidence that screen light causes permanent physical blindness in the short term, there is overwhelming evidence that it destroys your sleep, and sleep is when your eyes and brain repair themselves. Our bodies run on a circadian rhythm, a 24-hour clock dictated by light. Blue light, the high energy wavelength emitted by screens, mimics the sun. When you look at it, your brain thinks it is high noon. A pivotal study conducted by researchers at Harvard Medical School compared people who read ebooks before bed to those who read printed books. The results were staggering. The screen readers took longer to fall asleep, had less REM sleep, the restorative phase, and crucially, had significantly suppressed levels of melatonin, the sleep hormone. The study showed their circadian clocks were shifted by more than an hour. Think of melatonin as the night shift foreman for your body. He comes in to clean up, repair cells, and rest the machinery. When you stare at a tablet at 9 p.m., you are effectively shining a spotlight in the foreman's face and screaming, "The sun is up, get back to work." He leaves, the repairs don't happen, and you wake up with eyes that feel gritty and tired because they never truly rested. You don't necessarily need expensive blue blocker glasses, though they can help. You have a free tool already installed on almost every modern device. I call this the sunset rule. You need to set your devices to automatically shift their color temperature at sundown. On an iPhone or iPad, go to display and brightness and find night shift. Schedule it to turn on from sunset to sunrise. This warms the colors, turning the harsh blue into a softer amber glow. On Android or Windows, look for Eye Comfort Shield or Night Light. This amber light is much less likely to trick your brain into thinking it's daytime, allowing your natural melatonin to rise when it should. Now, let's address the text itself with our fourth point, critical print size. Many seniors pride themselves on not needing large print books yet, but holding on to that pride while staring at a 10-point font on a glowing screen is a recipe for disaster. There is a concept in optometry called critical print size, or CPS. This is the smallest font size at which you can read with maximum speed and zero struggle. If you go smaller than your CPS, your reading speed drops drastically because your eyes are making microscopic, jerky movements to decode the symbols. A study exploring reading performance in the elderly, published in Vision Research, found that the reading rate drops significantly when font size falls below this critical threshold. Unlike younger eyes, which can accommodate tiny text by just focusing harder, the aging eye hits a hard physical wall. Imagine you are trying to lift a heavy box. You can do it, but your muscles are shaking, your breath is short, and you risk injury. That is your eye on small font. Now, imagine lifting a feather. That is your eye on large font. Why force yourself to lift the heavy box all day long? There is no award for reading tiny text. I want you to go to your phone settings right now. On an iPhone, go to display and brightness, and then text size. Drag that slider to the right until it looks too big, then back it off just a notch. On Android, look for font size and style. If you are on a computer browser, hold down the control key or command on Mac and press the plus key. Do it 3 times. Watch the world get bigger. Do you feel your shoulders relax? That's the goal. We are about halfway through our list, and I hope you're already feeling a little more empowered. If you've just adjusted your font size or turned on night shift, give this video a thumbs up. It tells us that these practical, hands-on tips are working for you. And remember, we aren't just trying to make things easier. We are trying to preserve your energy for the things you love. This brings us to the 5th tool in your kit, the 202020 reset. One of the most common complaints I hear is my vision blurs when I look away from the screen. You look at your laptop, then you look out the window, and for 5 seconds, the trees are a blurry mess. This is called an accommodation spasm. Your eyes have muscles inside them, the ciliary muscles that contract to change the shape of your lens so you can see up close. When you stare at a screen for an hour, those muscles are locked in a clenched fist. When you look away, they can't unclench fast enough. They are stuck in a cramp. This is why the Canadian Association of Optometrists and the American Academy of Ophthalmology universally recommend the 202020 rule. It is the gold standard for a reason. The rule is simple, but you have to actually do it. Every 20 minutes, look at something 20 feet away for 20 seconds. Why 20 seconds? Because it takes about that long for the ciliary muscles to fully relax and unspasm. It's a stretch for your eyes. If you have trouble remembering, there are free apps like Stretchly or iCare 202020 that will gently dim your screen every 20 minutes to remind you. It's annoying at first, but your eyes will thank you by the end of the day. For our 6th point, we have to look beyond the eyes themselves and talk about the ergonomic link. We often think of vision as happening entirely in the eyeballs, but your eyes are part of a kinetic chain that includes your neck, shoulders, and spine. If you are watching this on a tablet in your lap looking down, you are creating a physiological bottleneck. A study in the International Journal of Environmental Research and Public Health analyzed the craniovertebral angle, a fancy term for how far forward your head sticks out. They found that forward head posture, that turtleneck position we all do when looking at a phone, increases the load on your neck muscles by 3.6 times. But here is the kicker. There's a direct correlation between neck tension and eye strain. Tight neck muscles can restrict blood flow to the head and cause tension headaches that radiate behind the eyes, mimicking eye strain. Think of your neck like a garden hose carrying water, blood, and nerve signals to the sprinkler, which is your eyes. If you kink the hose by bending your neck sharply downward, the sprinkler doesn't work right. You can't fix the sprinkler until you unkink the hose. So here is the rule. Your screen must be at eye level. If you are on a computer, put a stack of books under the monitor. The top of the screen should be level with your eyebrows. If you use an iPad, buy a stand. Do not hold it in your lap. Prop it up on a table so you are looking straight ahead, not down. Also, check your distance. Your screen should be about an arm's length away, roughly 20 to 26 inches. High five your screen. If you can just barely touch it with your fingertips, you're in the sweet zone. Finally, let's talk about the glare factor and managing ambient light. Many seniors try to save money or focus better by turning off all the lights in the room and working in the dark. This is one of the worst things you can do. When the room is dark, your pupil dilates to let in more light, but the screen is bright, so your pupil wants to constrict. Your poor iris is caught in a tug of war, constantly fluctuating. This causes massive fatigue. This is known as disability glare. Research has shown that significant differences in luminance between a target you ran and the surround your room cause a reduction in visual performance and comfort. A study in the journal Ergonomics found that balanced lighting, where the screen brightness matches the ambient brightness, significantly reduces reported visual fatigue. To fix this, try the paper test. Hold a piece of white paper next to your screen. The screen should glow with the same brightness as the paper. If the screen is like a light bulb compared to the paper, turn the screen brightness down or the room lights up. If the screen looks gray and dull compared to the paper, turn the screen brightness up. And be careful with windows. If you have a window directly behind your back, it reflects off the screen and hits your eyes. If you have a window directly behind the monitor, you are looking into a backlight. Position your desk so the window is to your side. We have covered a lot of ground today, so let's quickly recap the checklist for your new eye-friendly lifestyle. First, force that hard blink to reset your oil glands. Second, don't settle for gray text. Use high contrast settings. Third, use night shift to protect your melatonin. Fourth, increase your text size until it feels effortless. Remember the lifting a feather analogy. Fifth, take a 20-second break every 20 minutes. Sixth, raise your screen to eye level to save your neck. And finally, balance your light so your screen matches the room. I want to leave you with this final thought. Your eyesight is the gateway to your independence. It's how you handle your banking, how you connect with family, how you learn new things, and how you navigate the world. Protecting it isn't just about comfort, it's about maintaining your agency. You have the power to control your environment. You are not at the mercy of your device. By making these small tweaks, adjusting a setting here, moving a lamp there, you are taking a stand for your own health. You are saying, I intend to keep seeing the world clearly on my own terms. I'm curious, which of these tips surprised you the most? Was it the blinking rate dropping so low, or maybe the connection between your neck and your eyes? Leave a comment below. I personally read them, and I'd love to know which change you're going to try first. If you found value in this medical coffee chat, please consider liking this video and subscribing because your health is worth fighting for. We are on a mission to bring hard science to senior health in a way that is actually useful, and having you with us makes our community stronger. Remember, your eyes are resilient, but they need your help. Give them a blink, give them a break, and keep looking forward. We'll see you in the next video.